Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Every day it seems like there's some new AI development that's kind of both exciting and a little bit unnerving.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, today's deep dive is like the perfect example of that. We're going to be looking at DeepSeek, this AI model that's, making waves for its capabilities. But it's also raising some serious questions about data privacy.
Yeah, it really highlights the fine line we're walking as AI becomes more and more powerful and more integrated into all of our lives.
Oh, really?
How do we balance those potential benefits with the potential risks?
Exactly. And to help us, unpack all of this, we've got an article from Backplain,
Right.
a company that is all about AI security.
Yeah.
So before we even get into the concerns about it, like what makes DeepSeek so groundbreaking in the first place?
So imagine like an AI that can rival or maybe even surpass what we've seen from the big names, like OpenAI.
Oh, that's what DeepSeek is bringing to the table. And here's the kicker. It was reportedly developed with way fewer resources and is available open source.
Oh, wow. Now, that's fascinating. For our listener who might not know, open source basically means that the code is freely available for anybody to use and modify. It's great for accessibility, but it can also make things a little bit more vulnerable security-wise.
Right.
But I'm curious, what kind of impact is this having on like the whole AI scene?
It's shaken things up for sure. I mean, in the U.S., investors are asking some tough questions. They're wondering why billions were poured into AI development when a model like DeepSeek developed in China seems to be achieving comparable results for a fraction of the cost.
Wow.
And, it's making waves when it becomes one of the top downloaded apps practically overnight.
Right. Yeah. That's a pretty clear sign that people are eager to get their hands on this technology.
Yeah. But now let's get to the part that has a lot of folks worried, the data privacy implications. So what kind of red flags did Backplain point out in their article?
This is where things get a little dicey. Backplane's article revealed that DeepSeek currently offers absolutely zero privacy options.
Really?
That's right, none whatsoever, which means it's collecting everything.
Oh, wow.
Your personal information, every single chat you have, every prompt you enter, audio files, even documents that you upload.
So it's like a comprehensive...
It's a pretty comprehensive data grab.
Hold on. So there's like no way to opt out of that data collection.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big deal. What are they doing with all that data?
And that's the heart of the problem.
Yeah.
DeepSeek isn't exactly transparent about how they handle this sensitive information.
Right.
This lack of clarity raises some major red flags about potential misuse, especially given that the model was developed in China.
Right.
It just adds another layer of complexity to the situation, particularly with those concerns about potential access by the Chinese government.
So we've got this incredibly powerful, accessible AI tool, but it comes with these potentially massive data privacy risks. It's a tough trade-off.
Yeah.
So what does Backplain suggest we do about it?
Well, that's where Backplain steps in. They've developed a way for people to use DeepSeek without exposing their data. They call it containing the DeepSeek model within their own secure infrastructure.
Okay, that sounds promising. But how does that actually work? I mean, it's not like putting a physical box around the AI, is it?
Exactly. It's more of a digital safeguard.
Yeah.
Think of it like a firewall that prevents any of your data from leaking out.
Or...
Essentially, Backplain acts as a trusted intermediary.
Okay.
You interact with DeepSeek through their platform, but your data never actually reaches the DeepSeek model itself.
So Backplain is kind of like a middleman then.
Right.
Ensuring that you can still tap into the power of DeepSeek without your data being compromised.
Precisely. With Backplane's approach, they guarantee that user data is never used for training the DeepSeek model and that no outside entity can access it.
Okay, that's pretty clever. But it makes you wonder if this is a problem that needs a bigger solution than just, a firewall. Like, this whole situation with DeepSeek really highlights that tension between powerful AI and data privacy.
Absolutely. DeepSeek is a powerful example, but it's really just the tip of the iceberg. I think this tension is only going to intensify as AI becomes more prevalent in our lives.
So where do we go from here? What does this all mean for you, our listener?
Right.
What are like the key takeaways from this whole DeepSeek situation?
I think the most important takeaway is this. As amazing as these new AI tools can be, we can't just dive in head first without considering the potential risks.
Right.
Awareness is key.
Yeah.
We need to be asking those tough questions about data privacy and demanding greater transparency from developers.
Right. The power of these AI models is incredibly exciting, but that doesn't give them a free pass when it comes to our personal data.
Exactly.
Right.
And this isn't just about individual users either.
Right.
Businesses using DeepSeek could be unknowingly putting their proprietary information or even their customers' data at risk.
The stakes are high. So what can we actually do to protect ourselves? Is it all on us as users, or do the companies developing these AI models have a responsibility here too?
Well, it's a shared responsibility, of course.
Yeah.
Users need to be aware and take steps to protect their data.
Right.
But developers absolutely have a duty to prioritize data privacy and transparency from the ground up.
So it's not enough to just build a powerful AI.
Right.
They also need to build in the safeguards to make sure it's being used responsibly.
Exactly. They need to build in those robust security measures, give users clear control over their data, and be upfront about how that data is being used.
Right.
And this is where companies like Backplain are stepping up, showing that it's possible to offer powerful AI while also respecting data privacy.
So Backplane's approach is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious, are there other companies or organizations out there that are tackling this issue of AI and data privacy?
Absolutely. Backplane's just one example, and thankfully they're not alone.
Good.
There are a number of companies out there focusing on developing privacy-preserving technologies that can help us all navigate this new AI landscape.
Okay, that's good to hear. It sounds like there's a lot of innovation happening in the area of secure AI. But is there anything like we as individuals can do beyond just choosing companies that prioritize privacy?
Well, apart from being selective about the platforms we use, we can also advocate for our data rights and demand better practices from AI companies.
Right.
Remember, our collective voice can have a big impact on shaping how this technology evolves.
That's a really important point. It's easy to feel powerless when it comes to tech that seems so complex.
Right.
But we as users do have a voice, and we need to use it.
Exactly. And as we delve deeper into the world of AI, we need to remember that it's not just about passively consuming technology. It's about actively shaping its development to align with our values.
Oh, I love that. Shaping technology to align with our values.
Yeah.
That's a powerful idea.
Mm-hmm.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to bring it back to our listener.
Okay.
And offer something specific to consider.
I'm all ears.
Okay, so think about this. What if, in the future, access to powerful AI tools like DeepSeek is directly tied to our data privacy choices?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Like, what if instead of having to sacrifice our data to access these tools, we could actually earn rewards or privileges for protecting it?
Interesting.
What if data privacy itself became a valuable asset?
Yeah.
It's almost like flipping the script on how we think about data in the age of AI.
That is a truly thought-provoking idea. It challenges us to reimagine the relationship between data privacy and access to technology.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond just protecting our data and starting to think about how we can be empowered by it. But let's save that conversation for next time when we'll be diving deeper into the future of AI and data privacy.
I can't wait. This is going to be a fascinating discussion.
Yeah.
This is a really compelling concept.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where companies are competing for users not by offering free services in exchange for data.
Right.
But by offering better AI experiences in exchange for robust data privacy.
That would be a game changer, for sure. But I gotta admit, I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah.
Is that even realistic? It feels like we're constantly giving up our data.
Yeah.
Just to use basic online services.
Yeah, I understand the skepticism. It's definitely a shift in mindset. But I think we're already seeing some glimpses of this future emerging.
Okay.
There are a growing number of companies exploring innovative business models that center around data privacy.
Like what? Give me some examples. I need some hope here.
Well, for example, there are platforms popping up that are built around this idea of personal data stores.
Okay.
Basically, it gives you, the user, complete control over your own data. You decide what information to share with whom, and for what purpose.
So instead of companies automatically collecting and storing our data, we become the gatekeepers.
Exactly.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, and then there's this whole movement towards decentralized identity systems.
Okay.
So these aim to replace those traditional centralized identity providers, which often hold a lot of power over our data. With decentralized identity, you control your own credentials.
Okay.
And you can choose to share only the information that's absolutely necessary.
So it's like taking back ownership of our digital identities.
Exactly.
But how does that actually play into like using AI, especially something like DeepSeek?
Well, imagine combining those personal data stores with AI.
Okay.
Instead of DeepSeek having direct access to your data,
right.
It could interact with your personal data store through secure APIs, accessing only the information that you explicitly allow.
So DeepSeek could still like learn and adapt to your needs, but it would be doing so with your consent and under your control.
Precisely.
That takes away a lot of those privacy concerns we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And on top of that, there are some really exciting developments happening in the field of privacy-preserving computation.
Okay.
So these are techniques that allow AI models to be trained on data without actually seeing the raw data itself.
Hold on, that sounds like magic. How is that even possible?
It is a bit technical, but essentially it involves using encryption and other clever mathematical methods to protect the data while still allowing the AI to learn from it.
So even the AI model itself wouldn't have access to our sensitive information.
Right.
That sounds incredibly promising.
It is. These technologies are still evolving, but they have the potential to revolutionize how we think about AI and data privacy. And I think that's the most important takeaway here. We're not stuck with the current status quo.
Right.
There are alternatives, there are solutions being developed, and there is hope for a future where we can have both powerful AI and strong data privacy.
That's a great point. I think it's easy to get discouraged when you hear about, things like DeepSeek and all the potential privacy risks, but it's crucial to remember that the future of AI is not set in stone.
Right.
Like it's being shaped right now, and we as users have a role to play in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the more we engage in these conversations, the more we educate ourselves about the potential risks and benefits, the better equipped we'll be to make informed choices about the AI technologies we use and support.
Okay, so as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the one key message you want our listener to take away?
I would say this: don't let the headlines scare you away from AI entirely.
Right.
It's an incredibly powerful tool with so much potential to improve our lives. But like any powerful tool, it needs to be used responsibly and with caution.
Right.
Be informed, ask questions, and don't be afraid to demand better from the companies developing these technologies.
I love that. Demand better. We as users have more power than we think.
Exactly. And the more we exercise that power, the more likely we are to create a future where AI truly benefits humanity.
So as we look ahead to the future of AI and data privacy, what are some of the key trends or developments that you're most excited about?
Well, I'm really excited about the potential of these privacy-preserving technologies. I think they could be a real game changer, allowing us to unlock the power of AI without sacrificing our privacy.
Yeah.
And I'm also really interested to see how these new decentralized systems and platforms evolve.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be following AI, for sure.
It is.
And I think it's safe to say that things are moving pretty fast. So how can our listeners stay up to date on all of this without getting overwhelmed? Any recommendations for resources or places to learn more?
Absolutely. There are some great resources out there for anyone who's interested in learning more about AI and data privacy.
Okay.
Websites like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF, and the Center for Democracy and Technology, CDT, are great places to start.
Okay.
They have a wealth of information on privacy issues, and they're actively involved in advocating for user rights in the digital space.
Those are great resources. And for our listener who might be a little bit more tech savvy, are there any publications or newsletters that you recommend?
Definitely. If you want to dive deeper into the technical aspects of privacy-enhancing technologies, I recommend checking out publications like MIT Technology Review and Wired.
Okay.
They do a great job of covering the latest developments in AI and data privacy in an accessible way. And for a more regular dose of news and analysis, there's some excellent newsletters out there like Import AI and Data in Society that focus specifically on these issues.
Great suggestions. So we've talked about the risks, the solutions, the future trends. Now I want to bring it back to something a little more personal.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Given everything we've discussed today, how has your own perspective on AI and data privacy changed or evolved?
That's a great question. I think for me, the biggest shift has been moving from a sense of resignation to a sense of empowerment. It's easy to feel like we're just along for the ride with AI.
Right.
But the more I learned about the different approaches and the work being done to prioritize privacy, the more I realized that we do have a say in how this technology develops.
That's a powerful realization. And I have to say, I share that sentiment. Yeah. The more we explore these issues, the more we realize that there are choices to be made.
Right.
And those choices have real consequences.
Exactly. And it's not about rejecting AI altogether.
Right.
It's about being thoughtful, being critical, and demanding better.
I couldn't agree more. Well, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay.
It's something to ponder as they continue their AI journey.
Let's hear it.
What if, instead of seeing data privacy as a burden or a limitation,
right,
we start to see it as a source of innovation and opportunity?
Ooh.
What if, by demanding better data privacy, we actually unlock a whole new wave of creativity and progress in the field of AI?
That's a fantastic thought. It's about flipping the script and seeing data privacy not as an obstacle to overcome, but as a catalyst for something truly extraordinary.
Exactly. It's about reimagining the possibilities. But for now, let's take a pause here, and we'll pick up this fascinating conversation in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. Looking forward to continuing this exploration.
All right, so we are back and ready to continue this conversation about the future of AI and data privacy. We've covered a lot of ground already, from the potential risks of these powerful AI models like DeepSeek to the emerging solutions that are putting privacy front and center.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating journey so far. And, I think we've really highlighted that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we're actively shaping.
Right.
Through our choices, our demands, and our vision for how this technology can be used responsibly and ethically.
Exactly. And speaking of vision, I'm curious to hear a little bit more about your thoughts on how data privacy can actually become a source of innovation and opportunity.
Right.
Rather than just like a constraint.
Well, think about it this way. When we prioritize privacy, we're essentially forcing ourselves to be more creative.
Okay.
To think outside the box, to come up with new ways of doing things.
Yeah.
We're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI while also respecting individual rights and values.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. By putting those privacy constraints in place, we're actually creating an environment where innovation can flourish.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things get really exciting. We're already seeing this play out in the development of these new privacy-enhancing technologies. Like, for example, federated learning.
Okay.
This allows AI models to be trained on data that's distributed across multiple devices without ever having to centralize that data in a single location.
Wow.
It's a brilliant way to protect privacy while still enabling powerful AI applications.
So instead of having to collect all of this data in one place, which creates, a huge privacy risk,
Right.
the AI can actually learn from the data while it's still spread out.
And protected.
Exactly.
It's like having the AI go to the data
Okay.
rather than bringing the data to the AI.
Gotcha.
And this approach has huge implications for fields like healthcare, where privacy is paramount. Imagine being able to train AI models on sensitive medical data without ever having to compromise patient confidentiality.
That's a game changer for sure. And it sounds like there are a lot of other innovations happening in this space.
Absolutely. Another area I'm really excited about is differential privacy.
Okay.
It's a technique that allows us to extract insights from data sets without revealing any information about individual data points.
So, what does that mean?
It's like being able to see the forest without being able to identify any specific tree.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right.
So it's about being able to learn from the data as a whole without being able to, zoom in on any individual's information.
Exactly.
That's incredibly powerful.
It is. And it has applications in a wide range of fields from, social science research to market analysis. We can learn about trends and patterns without ever having to compromise individual privacy.
Okay, so we've talked about all these amazing innovations that are being driven by this focus on data privacy. But let's be real for a minute. These technologies are still relatively new, and they often come with their own set of challenges and limitations. What are some of the hurdles that we still need to overcome to, fully realize the potential of privacy-preserving AI?
That's a great question. And you're right, these technologies aren't a silver bullet. I think one of the biggest challenges is scalability. Some of these techniques can be computationally expensive, making it difficult to apply them to very large data sets.
Okay.
And there are still some open questions about how to best balance privacy with utility.
Right.
In some cases, preserving privacy might mean sacrificing some level of accuracy or performance.
Right. So it's a trade-off that we need to be mindful of.
Exactly.
But I have to believe that, as these technologies mature, those trade-offs will become less and less significant.
I'm optimistic about that as well. And I think another important piece of the puzzle is education and awareness. We need to make sure that developers, policymakers, and the general public understand the importance of data privacy and the potential of these new technologies.
Absolutely. The more we talk about these issues, the more we kind of normalize this idea that privacy should be a core consideration in AI development, the more likely we are to see real progress.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the power of our collective voice. We can demand better from the companies that are developing AI.
Right.
We can support organizations that are championing privacy. And we can educate ourselves and others about the choices that we have.
So to our listener out there who's been on this journey with us, what's like the one message you want to leave them with?
I would say this. Don't be afraid to engage with the world of AI. It's a powerful force that's going to shape our future in profound ways. But don't be passive. Be informed. Be critical. And be vocal about your values. The future of AI is not something that's happening to us. It's something we are creating together.
Beautifully said. And on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive. It's been an incredibly insightful conversation, and I hope our listener has come away feeling, empowered and inspired to take an active role in shaping the future of AI.
It's been a pleasure joining you on this deep dive.
Likewise.
And to our listener, remember, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep demanding better. Your voice matters.
Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.